This video is brought to you by the Ridge Wallet. This incredible wallet. It's light, sleek, and industrial. It doesn't fold or awkwardly bulge out of your back pocket. It seriously changed my whole pocket game. If you've moved on from the flip phone, then it's time that you let that 90s style wallet that your dad still uses behind. Ridge Wallet holds up to 12 cards plus all the cash that you need. Choose from over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. It's the best wallet you can buy, but you don't just have to take my word for it. There are over 30,000 five-star reviews. Once you try it, you will never go back to your old wallet. And there's no pressure. Test it out for 45 days. If you don't love it, send it back, get a full refund. When you decide to keep it, there is a lifetime warranty. Click on the link in the description to get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns. Go to ridge.com/Chael. That's ridge.com/Chael and use the promo code Chael. There's something I came across, okay, and I was going to bring it to you guys, but I couldn't get full circle on it. It was a tweet by Justin Gaethje. Now, the tweet read, and this is on the heels of finding out that Chandler and Oliveira are booked and going to compete. Oh, and by the way, that's for the championship. Gaethje tweeted out, "I woke up today, like every day, going to the gym and training for Michael Chandler, except I just found out somebody else is getting the fight." That is not a quote, but that is verbatim to the ideas and the tone that Gaethje put out. Now, what does that mean? And this is what I tried to find out. What does that mean? So I screenshotted that. I sent that to Ali. Fill me in here. Because one interpretation of that is that Gaethje was told he was going to get that fight. If Gaethje was told he was going to get that fight and had it yanked out without being called, great, we got some juicy drama. Well, that's not what Gaethje said. Which is why I had to go follow up on it. That's why I was looking into it. What exactly is it that he means by this? I couldn't get to the bottom, and so Gaethje came out and he spoke today. And he said, "I'm exactly the kind of guy Dana White is looking for. Everything that Dana says he's looking for is the kind of guy I am, but I didn't get this title fight. Maybe I've pissed somebody off." Well, I'm looking at that and going, what do you mean maybe you've pissed somebody off? You have not looked into it? You have not made a phone call and found out what happened here? And who do I need to go? And is there a path or any kind of a plan for me? You haven't looked into these things? You just have this random thought and went and said it in the media? I was a little confused by that. And as far as Gaethje being passed over for a title fight, when Gaethje's last fight was a title fight, oh, by the way, the fight before that was a title fight. I don't know that I'm fully following this train of thought. I can tell you between Gaethje's last fight and now, Oliveira has called for a title fight 6 times. Gaethje has never called for a title fight, but did go on record saying that if Conor McGregor got one, Gaethje himself would quit the sport. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm not bringing to you a new concept, and I'm not sharing with you that that's why Oliveira got it in front of Gaethje. That fight kind of caught me by surprise a little bit too. The only one that I thought would be a common denominator in that was Michael Chandler, because he was so willing to say yes. He was so willing to fly out to Fight Island and take on Gaethje and or Khabib. Come back, do it again against Hooker. Come back, do it wherever this one with Oliveira is going to be. I'm just sharing with you. Chandler was going to be one of those guys, but who was it going to be against? And I don't know of anything that Gaethje did to add some steam to this. He thought he was just going to sit around and get a phone call because he's one of the guys that Dana White's... I didn't get the statement. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset with it at all. I'm wondering if there's some drama. I was hoping to get a good story and bring it to you guys. And the other side is I would like to ask Gaethje, what do you think is going to be different next time? The next time they need somebody to fight for a title, do you think it's going to be you who sat out but is out of everybody's minds, by the way, is coming off of a loss? I mean, not for nothing. Do you think that's going to be you? Or do you think maybe you should get back in there and go and do something interesting? I would be very open to the idea. Justin Gaethje has earned the right. We can all learn something from Justin Gaethje, but I'd like to know what his plan is. I am a little bit curious. And if any part of him thought he was going to sit around and one day get a phone call, hey, come fight for a belt, you just fought for the belt. And before that, you fought for the belt. It's not as though you've been overlooked, but you're coming off of a loss. Your entire argument that you made to the public was that Conor should not be able to fight for a belt because he just got beat. Yet you thought you were going to fight for the belt when you just got beat. I mean, do you see the problem? This is the problem with making statements about somebody else in the public, right? You're now bound to that statement. You're bound to it for yourself. By his own logic, he had to be passed over. By his logic that he put out, that he was willing to leave the organization for, a guy who just lost can't fight for the belt. Okay. I don't agree with it. I'm fine with Conor, who's a two-time champion, fighting the belt. I'm fine with Gaethje, who is just the champion, and the only guy that beat him is the guy that's no longer in the sport, and Khabib. It makes a level of sense to me. But it didn't to him. He came out and said something different than that. So now that we do have some clarity, we understand where this division is going to go. The best thing that you could hope for, and it's a hope is not much of a strategy, but the best thing that you could hope for is that the winner of Poirier-Conor doesn't also take the number one contendership. Championship, that fight's busy. I believe the contenderships, I believe Conor and Poirier, whoever wins that, most definitely should go on and fight for the title. But if Gaethje has other plans, what's his move going to be? Booking-wise, I want to see him in there against Felder. That's what I want to see. Strategically, it would make a level of sense for Gaethje to do what he just saw Chandler do, which is to put himself in to a number one contender's role in a backup position. The backup spot, the fill-in fighter, is a very honorable position. It has a level of financial participation. It has a level of media participation. It has a built-in mechanism that forces you to be disciplined, get into training camp, keep an eye on your weight. It has only got positives. And anybody that believes that has a negative connotation has got that belief because Conor came out and said, I'm not a backup fighter. So if you have that idea, you're just another Conor copycat, which is why we don't need you. We'll just go with Conor.